Hi everybody, welcome to episode 61 of the KMS Quick Shots. My name is Flo, and today I'm joined by Tyler Drama, the multi-talented artist from New Jersey. Hi Tyler, nice to meet you.
What is happening, man? It is nice to meet you too.
Thanks for taking your time to be here. So, you just dropped your new single on July 1st called Blood on Jackie's Jacket. Can you tell us about this energetic tune?
Yeah, it's my first real song going a little bit heavier on the guitar drum style stuff because all my stuff up to this point has been very more in the pop direction. This is still very poppy, but it's got rock elements and stuff. And it was really exciting in a way to do something in this style because this is the style that I grew up doing and stuff like that. So yeah, I released it last week and it's gotten some good response. So definitely digging it.
What made you decide to go in a different direction than the other tracks you were doing?
Honestly, the rise of more guitar-oriented music lately in like top 40 music, artists like Travis Barker is like really, just taking so many artists and just like having them do these rock songs, and he's making it easier for someone like me to go ahead and take those kind of risks and do a track like that. And I'm really digging it, and I hope it stays. I hope it's not just a small wave. It probably is, but I'm gonna ride it a little bit because I really enjoy it.
Uh, can you tell us about the production process? You just mentioned there was a little bit of convincing involved for you to do this, or was it your idea actually?
No, this was all my idea. It's in terms of the production, I recorded everything myself, and I just usually I start off with singing a chorus and then just building everything on that, and that's sort of what I did with this. And yeah, I don't know, I just as I was singing it to myself, thinking about how I wanted it to go, I was like, I really feel like I could put some drums in this and some guitars and some cool halftime parts, and I did it. My vision came to life exactly how I wanted it to, and everyone who I had involved really helped me do that. And this is the first time where like every single aspect of my vision has come to life perfectly. Very rarely does that happen, so it's cool.
Was that thanks to the crew that were involved, or was it just that everything fell in place?
I'm going to give it 100% to the crew, to everyone that I had help me, because I mean I record this stuff and then they do all the hard stuff. So like, my very talented friend Carl helped me with the production of it, and then I had some guys from Atrium Audio work on the guitars, and then I had my mixing engineer James Paul Wisner mixed it. This other guy Grant from Fader Mastering, he mastered the track, and then I had this photographer from New York take some pictures, and then this other guy do a visualizer, and
Those pictures in the white suit with the blood on it?
yeah,
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 perfect.
like
Yeah.
that was my exact vision. I was so happy that I was able to get like a white suit that had like cool blood splatters on it. Like I found exactly what I wanted, and then I hit up my photographer Lena, and she like completely like understood, and she was like giving me direction on what to do. And then yeah, and then the person who I had to do the visualizer, he like, I told him I wanted like blood splattering on as the video is playing, and he did it perfect. It all worked out. It's all thanks to all of them.
Was a few words to the content of the song. So this is quite a deep topic, I would say. So how did you come up with the topic of the lyrics?
So it's kind of interesting. I was in a friend's basement with 4 friends total, and one of my friends was telling a story. I don't even remember what the story was about, but he said the words "blood on Jackie's jacket" while telling this story. So I said to him, I was like, "That's a cool name for a song." That's all I said. I was like, one day I want to release a song called that. And it'd be awesome if the cover had like a white jacket with like blood on it, with like this, like almost like a metalcore looking album cover. And of course that exactly happened.
Yeah.
And so I took those words and I wrote like a completely new story, uh, just based around that phrase. And the story that I wrote had nothing to do with his story. I just took that phrase and made a new story out of it. And so yeah, and yeah, I just wrote this whole story about it, and that's sort of how it happened.
Was it a made-up story, or was it a life experience that brought up this story?
It's a made up story, but it's definitely inspired by uh, you know, things I've felt and things that I know other people have gone through. And I think that's one of the reasons that people can relate to it and interpret it in their own ways. I love when people come up with their own interpretations to my stuff. And that's why I usually don't like to go all in saying this song is about this exactly, this and this. And leave it a little bit more mysterious up in the air so people can tell me, you know. So I know where their mind sort of sent them.
Yeah, and it gives the other interpretations open up even your side of you from the track where you started, and probably open up new ways to see it. So,
Yeah, and yeah, and like it's, you know, it's clearly got a theme of like depression and stuff like that, and suicidal thoughts, and people who have all that are really seeming to tell me that they're getting it, which is great. So.
it's what puzzled me at first, but it's amazing how you were able to pack this into this energetic, driving theme. It's nothing melancholic or sad, but it's just one kick-ass song with a heavy theme involved. So
Thank you.
now that we learned about your new tune, I want to get to know the artist as well. Could you tell us a bit about your musical journey? When did you start make music?
I started making music probably when I was like a preteen, and I was just like everyone else. I started off doing like rock covers and stuff like that. And you know, I would make bands, and I would make other bands. You know, when you're doing stuff while everyone's in school, everyone's doing different things. And then I did pop punk for a while, up until about 2017. And I did all kinds of stuff with that. I was touring all the time. And then one day I decided I want to just do my own thing. And since then, that's what I've been doing. It's just Tyler Drama. And it sort of gives me a bunch of freedom, and also it kind of puts me in charge. And I can release like a hip hop song tomorrow, and then put out like a rock song the next day if I want, and then whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I just call it alternative.
So it seems that you like breaking up the boundaries of genres, so to speak. So the almighty wise ever been there genres like rock, pop, and stuff. Could it be that these don't mean much to you? So you just see this whole thing as a floating area where you just drop the next track where you feel like it?
Yeah, yes. And I will say I do try and do somewhat of a good transition from track to track. I don't like doing like just straight up left turn out of nowhere, but also I know that I have, just because things haven't worked out, exactly in the order that I wanted them to. But yeah, and for the most part, yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. If I want to add some random hip hop section in the song, I will. It's just, I think a lot of people are doing that now, and it's awesome, because even as a listener, as a fan, I love so many different genres, and I love hearing people combine them all. So just add me to that list, because I'll keep doing that.
It's always exciting if you don't, if there's something happening in the tracks you don't expect at first. So you go like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. So
Yeah.
would you say the drive to experiment, if we might call it this way, comes from the fact that you played mainstream or linear genres in the past, or where does this drive to experiment come from?
Yes, I would say that because, I have a love for so many kinds of music. I loved pop punk, and then I was in a hip hop group for a bunch of years, and I just loved that. And then my favorite band of all time is Guns N' Roses, which is this like hard rock, and so, I just combine all that stuff. And yeah, it is just all my whole past just now coming together into track by track, basically.
Would you notice a shift of fans that are turning away because you're going too much in one direction? Or is it always one bunch of fans who like it all?
I would say I definitely have noticed that, like, when I drop like a full on just regular like emo hip hop song, that there's people who loved my like indie rock style stuff more who really don't like that. And, whether they tell me or not, it's pretty obvious when they do or don't. So that's probably the hardest part, and one of the downsides of doing so many genres and like going all in on each one, is that, like, that's what you're doing, different genres, and some people might not like that. And so I guess the goal is to try and just like add more elements of each into each song, while also paying attention to modern music and what's on the radio, and trying to at least add a little bit of that, so you don't lose relevancy.
Yeah.
Lose relevance.
So you just said you were paying attention to what's going around in the music industry. Would you say songwriting is a natural process for you, or is it kind of a working process? So you say, okay, I have this theme, like you told before, with the guy telling a line that you thought it would go perfect in a song, but you have to sit down and write notes, or is it something you're just feeling and playing around with?
I think as time goes on, songwriting is actually getting harder for me. I know for most artists it gets easier, but like I get so much in my head now, and I try and like perfect every single line, and I'm like, then there's a part of me that's like, are people really gonna like this? Oh, would this play on the radio? And like, it's the worst way to be as a musician nowadays, because I've noticed that the musicians who do the best are the ones who care the least,
Mhm.
at least in terms of the music, and then they just focus everything on marketing. So I know I still have a lot of learning and progress to do in that regard, in terms of songwriting, and more just got to learn to just do whatever, whatever's just flowing out, and just leave it.
Yeah, yeah. In the end, it has to fit you. So if you're not good with it, I guess this perfectionist kind of thing is common out there with musicians. So you're in good company, but I know what you mean, because you can spend nights and playing over and over, recording again and again for some passages. No one will notice when they hear it later on, but you do. And this is the part where the perfectionist comes into play and says, "No, you've got to do that again."
Yeah,
Although, yeah.
exactly. People hear a 3-minute song and they probably think it takes like an hour, but like Blood on Jackie's Jacket started like months ago. Some songs that I've released years later. Just, sometimes it's me leaving it alone and coming back to it, but it's definitely, especially with someone like me who, like I said, just gets so in my head and stuff like that. It takes a while. So, and that's another, like, with how frequently you're supposed to release music nowadays to stay relevant and to keep your socials and your streaming platforms, on top. It's like it's even more of a reason to just go with it, go with what you're feeling, and just keep going, keep going. So
That's what I was asking the question about the work aspect of making music, because, like you said, nowadays it's just the same part as in creating music as it is in promoting music. So it's always the promoting is where the real work starts. So I guess
Yeah,
it's got
it's bad.
yeah. Were you a studio musician until now, or do you play also live gigs?
So when I was doing pop punk was mainly where I was doing live show. I was doing like tons and tons of live shows all across the country, U.S. And that was very, very live based music. And since I've been a solo artist, I've never performed a show. So everything I do is here in the studio. I'll do like covers on Instagram and TikTok, you know, just me singing into my microphone and just singing whatever cover I feel like singing. But yeah, it's all right here, basically.
Don't you miss the stage?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. But
is the plan to get back on stage as soon as you can gather a band or something?
the plan is to get back on stage as soon as there's a demand for me to be on stage. You see, if I just go and say, hey, I booked the show, I'm playing the show, and I promote it to my 7,000 fans on Instagram or whatever, some of which might be in the area for the show. I mean, you know, it's just, I'm going to end up playing 5, 10 people. I need to be in a situation where there's a demand for Tyler Drama to come to fucking Nevada or wherever, you know, just like, and when that demand is there, I absolutely cannot wait to go and play for big crowds and you know, be on stage and, you know, just have I love that more than anything. But I know I have to wait, and I think that's a mistake some artists make, is not waiting. So
Yeah, yeah. Know what you mean. So there's a time and place for everything, and you gotta wait for the time and place to be. Yeah.
exactly.
Without going live on stage during the pandemic happening, what had the most impact on you as a musician and as a person?
The pandemic was probably like the best thing that could have ever happened to me, honestly. If I'm
Okay.
being completely honest, just to me selfishly, that's it. It was great because we're told not to work and not to go out. So I'm an introvert. I don't really like going out that much, besides seeing like maybe a little select family or select few friends. And, you know, just being told to stay home, I can just be right here as much as I want, as long as I want. And my music release rates started skyrocketing because I started releasing a song like almost every month, because all I was just here recording and getting stuff done. So really, it impacted me in a great way. It actually like really pushed me. So I know a lot of other people don't have the same experience, but it helped me.
Yeah, there don't have to be just negative points with that. So having the time and the space and the environment, the silence to do such things isn't done very isn't just a natural thing without everything happening around you. So the pandemic, I can see that the pandemic helped you focus on your projects.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what are the projects for the rest of 2021?
Just the same, making music, just releasing whenever I can. And I am trying to, I want to make a clothing, like I want to make merch, but I have like a specific kind of idea or logo for what I want to do. So I don't necessarily want to know if I want to make like Tyler Drama clothing, like Tyler Drama merch, or just like a different brand. But I want to do something like that, and I hopefully can do that soon. And yeah, that's really all I've got on my mind. I would love to make some more music videos, but they're expensive, and you know, it has to be worth it to be able to recoup that cost. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's just more creating, hopefully making more TikToks and stuff like that, and just more
Are there,
content. Sorry,
are there any release dates set yet for new tracks, or do you just start by focusing on the merch clothing stuff?
well, the next, hopefully, like, if I don't get a song out by August, I'll be surprised. I really want to get a song out next month, if not earlier. So, you know, I've literally been here like the last few nights, few days, just trying to pump out more and more. So yeah, the music's definitely going to come first, because I mean, doing merch is like, there's 100 different ways you can do it, whether you get your shirts printed first or you have like another service print them and sell them, and you got to set up the store and all this stuff. So it's going to be like a whole process that maybe I'll do later this year, but music's definitely going to come first. So
that's the curse with being a creative person. So you're not bound to just music, but as soon as something artistic is coming along, I said, oh, that can I can do that, I can do that.
Yeah,
So
man.
there's just not enough time to focus on everything. So
exactly, especially with the marketing, like that's I mean, that's just so much of it now. It's just like learning about marketing, like Facebook ads and you know, like playlists and all this stuff. It's like that's the most time consuming.
Whenever it comes to marketing, I'm going like, la la la, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to learn it, I haven't got any time for it.
How's that working out?
Yeah. So, okay, Tyler, thank you very much for being here tonight with me. Guys, if you want to know more about Tyler Drama and his new track, Blood on Jackie's Jacket, please check out the links in the description of the video or the podcast. That's it for the night. All I have to say is thanks for watching. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.